First off, I'm trying to get to it for the Patreon video. Um, where's Jim Ross? Hold on, let me get to it.
Bruh, hold on.
Go
What?
ahead.
Man, there are various points in what we're about to watch where Jim Ross looked more nervous than Harper at a party with R. Kelly and Robert Kraft. Man, Jesus Christ.
Okay, brother. They set that old man up, bro. They
I'm not
set his
kidding.
ass up.
Y'all just don't know we're recording this the night that news broke of the day. Y'all leave that old man alone.
Yeah, for real, bro. That guy can't go get a fucking hand job at a massage parlor. Who hasn't done that?
Anyway, all right, let's get to JR. So first, JR introduces them. Yeah, here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to interview the most controversial team in any wrestling federation. They have caused more controversy by the spoken word than any team in the world of professional wrestling. At this time, let's bring out New Jack and Mustafa Saeed, the Gangstas.
All right, I turned it on music. They're coming out now. Doc, thoughts on when they're coming out and the kids with the Confederate flags taunting them and all that good stuff?
Man,
Go ahead. Man, that's all you got?
there's 5,000 people here, and there ain't enough. We watched the police let them hang a white man, before in this part of the country at a wrestling event. All I'm gonna say is New Jack has some balls,
You think?
big ones. But you get him on the show.
God, can you imagine Jack? Holy shit. With his mouth, well, he'd make us sound like two saints.
That'd
Or
be
three
great.
saints. It would. New Jack, if you heard of the show, get in touch with me at BTT_podcast or bookingtheterritory at gmail.com. I'd love to have you on. Same thing for you, Mustafa. Anyway, Harper, anything on the introduction before I play the rest of the promo?
Dude, those fucking rebel flag guys have no fear of them.
Right.
It's crazy. Like they just it's
They
they all
don't know what they don't know.
right. They have zero fear and they genuinely hate them.
And they
They would-
don't, but they don't know how close they came to really meeting up with something that they didn't really want to. See, that's the whole thing about all this, that you don't know at the time. But when you see what New Jack becomes and you go back and look at it, is how perilous this whole situation is at all moments.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Like that big fat kid.
Jesus
What fuck's his
Christ.
name?
Mass transit.
Yeah. We slit his
God.
fucking head open.
Eric, what was his name? What was his God,
Coolis.
Coolis, something
Fat
like that,
ass.
yeah. Dude, Jack almost murdered that. Jesus Christ.
Or Vic Grimes. I tried to kill him.
Jesus, he threw
He admitted to murder. Or attempted murder. Shit.
that fucking
Allegedly.
video. That guy could have been dead. I mean,
And he was a bounty hunter or hitman or bail bonds or whatever the fuck all that shit is. I mean, I don't know. But I mean, these people think that this is the wrestling match. Okay.
and this motherfucker's real.
He's got me convinced.
Yeah, really.
Let's play it. It's a little lengthy, but it's getting
It's worth
played
it.
here.
It's worth
Here
it.
is.
Yeah. Every second is fucking worth it.
So here it is.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead. What you got?
I'm going to say that this is perhaps a top 3 moment just because JR. I don't think this is his best promo in Smoky Mountain. I don't think this is his best promo so far. But because man, JR legitimizes. When JR at the beginning says that they're the most talked about or whatever, JR's coming in as an authority who's been to WCW, he's been to WWF. JR is well positioned as the best or biggest name announcer out there at this point. And he did his job getting the Gangstas over on the intro.
Hell yeah.
So this may be a top 3 moment for me in Smoky Mountain. Him standing there with them and them just in a 5,000 seat arena, just Payal.
It's a big moment. Here it is.
Gentlemen, the reason that we have asked you to join us at this time is that in recent weeks, Smoky Mountain Wrestling has received a great deal of complaints from the great television stations that air the broadcast, from the wrestling fans, and even from the Knoxville chapter of the NAACP. I am here to advise you, as a representative of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, that from now on, all of your interviews will have a disclaimer. The television stations and Smoky Mountain Wrestling are not going to be responsible for what you're saying on your interviews, and if you go over the line, then you will be censored. I'm sure you have some statements regarding this situation.
Let me tell you something. First of all, I'm going to give you redneck hillbillies the privilege of seeing me here. You understand? Now, it seems like every time you get one of us that want to be outspoken, you want to silence them. You silenced Martin Luther King, you understand? You silenced Medgar Evers, and now you even try to silence Arsenio Hall. You took him off the air. Well, baby, I'm here, and I'm going to be here until I feel like I want to leave. And if you don't like me being here, train to be a professional wrestler, get in this ring, and I'll beat you like I own you. I don't care nothing about these hillbillies not liking me. I don't care nothing about these hillbillies putting a censor on what I say and what I do. I've been censored all my life. So what do you think I care about these fools up here gonna try to do something to me? Let me tell you, and I tell Smoky Mountain, and especially I'm gonna send a message out to the NAACP. A bunch of trained Negroes, as you call them. You understand? Y'all got them where you want them. You got these Negroes from the NAACP in a cage. You tell them to jump, they say, well, ha, Master Jones. When New Jack, you don't care how far to jump, because I tell you to drop dead, you understand? I'm going to do what I want to do. NAACP, what they call them? National Association of Colored People. First of all, you get them, they say, don't call a black man colored. But then they going to sell out to y'all. I'm not selling out to y'all. If you don't like me, the hell with all of you. Because if you want to get something going with me,
they're turning on it.
You got to be trained to be a wrestler. Get your in here, and I'll beat you like I own you. Now, what do you think about that?
Well, I have one more question to ask you, and I'll do it with respect. Perhaps you'll answer me with respect. And these great fans here, what exactly is your objective here in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
Everywhere we have ever went, we done beat people until we got tired of beating them. Then, one day somebody said, well, we know somebody you hadn't beat yet. I said, who? I said, it can't be nobody from South Central LA, because we whooped all them to death. I said, who? They said, the Rock and Roll Express.
Listen to the crowd.
Got him.
I done beat brothers that have been in jail for murder. I have beat brothers that's done been in jail for molesting their own kids. I done beat brothers that's done been in jail for stealing cars. The only thing the Rock and Roll Express has done, which I'll give them credit where it's due, they done beat Doom, they beat the Steiners, they beat the Road Warriors, they done beat all the top dogs wrestling, but never have they been in a fight. You understand? True enough, they might beat us wrestling, but a fight. I'm talking about an eye-gouging, hair-pulling, teeth being knocked out fight with no rules. They hadn't been in that yet. And until them rednecks get in here with me, I don't consider them top dogs, because they got to survive this butt whooping that they gonna get from the Gangstas. Like me or not, I don't care if you like me, because I don't like none of y'all either. The ones of you that don't smell like tobacco spit smell like coal. So hey, I'll say this from the bottom of my heart. Smoky Mountain fans, TV producers, the NAACP, CP sellouts, kiss my black What you think about that?
Jesus Christ. It's like nuclear up in that motherfucking building. Oh, Doc, you want to go first or you want to throw it to Harper? It's completely up to you.
I want to know what Harper thought of that.
Harper,
How
go
they
ahead.
how they get rid of Arsenio Hall?
He canceled his shit.
Arsenio Hall. I'm thinking
That was the thing back then.
Yeah, I was thinking, when was the last time I heard someone mention Arsenio Hall?
1994.
Yeah, dude. You think the NAACP really came down on him?
I don't know. I know the language on the bottom of the screen was all over because Cornette has told us that.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he said that was a work. But let me go back to what Corny always says when he talks about New Jack. He said, "Go out there and make white people mad." So I don't know if the whole NAACP thing was. I think it's a work, but I don't have anything based on that. I just think it was all a work.
When the crowd started getting hot right about the time he started saying, "If y'all don't like it, go train to be a wrestler and come in here." I wonder how close somebody was to getting in the ring.
Yeah, really, huh?
Because you could feel the rising, and that's one of those things where that wasn't a high school gym. That's the big arena where there's 5,000 people in there, and you could hear the rumble. The people were getting hotter. You could feel people getting hotter the longer he went.
Well, okay, so there was a couple of moments there.
Of course there were. He called them, trained Negroes. You can't do that.
He called the Knoxville chapter of the NAACP
a bunch of trained Negroes. How high?
And then,
JR looked like Bill Watts would have never stood for this bullshit.
And then don't look past the fact when JR teed him up right, because JR, after he had said all that, he leads him to his objective. He goes, "What is your objective here in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?" And when he mentions the Rock and Roll Express, you hear that crowd go, "Oh!" They react, and Jack just says he's beat people up in jail for murder, molestation, auto theft. So it's just beautiful. He's calling out the NAACP. He's calling them trained Negroes. And then he calls out the Rock and Roll Express, which may as well be like calling out God to these people in this neck of the world.
Dude.
I don't.
This is right up there for that white sheet getting pulled down and Arn Anderson standing there. This is Ricky Morton in the backyard and OP Short saying he's wanting to be forgiven and reform the Rock and Roll. This is Tracy's mother's on the back porch, man. They walked out there at the big show in the big arena at the Night of Legends and made a case for themselves because they got people worked up.
Hold on. One more thing. They're out there at Night of Legends where Whitey Caldwell's being honored, Ron Wright, all these, all the Bob Armstrong, Doug Furnish, Ronnie Garvin, Jim Hess, Phil Hickerson, Boris Malenko. I mean, all Mongolian Stomper, all these Nelson Royals being honored. And Jack is out there setting the fucking building on fire.
Y'all gonna have to deal with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Go back one more time at 11:53 and play that dude again.
11:53. Is this when he's walking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hold on. So Mustafa's in the ring or getting in the ring. And he had that old white guy that's yelling at Jack.
Oh, yeah.
You think that guy was down with diversity and inclusion?
Fuck no. That dude was... Do you know how many N-words he yelled at New Jack at that moment?
I don't know. How many did you used to get yelled at you?
Here we go. He's stupid. All right. Any other thoughts on Jack right there before we move forward?
I just wonder what was going through his mind going out there. Because, again, this ain't the high school gym in Ass Creek, Virginia. I mean, I've got to think this is the biggest crowd they'd been in front of.
Yeah, I mean, there's 5,000 people here, so I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah.
And so when you put that into mind, I'm going to go out there and stand in the ring and tractor beam, gravitational pull tractor beam the eyes away from JR, who's a big deal being here, onto me. Dude, that's pretty insane.
Do you know why the print on the screen works so well to say, you know, Smoky Mountain Wrestling doesn't condone this language or whatever, or doesn't support the views of the Gangstas? You know, we talk about it, but you know what makes it so well work is the fact that it was JR sold it. Because like at the very beginning he goes, you know, we cannot be held responsible. We've been getting complaints from the stations. We cannot be held responsible for the content.
It makes it seem more wild and unpredictable. Like
it sure does.
People are like wilding out shit.
Like, God, what's he gonna say next?
Yeah. So we can't help. We can't
wilding out.
Bro, you sound like Tully in 1987 when he said DJ was all the way live. Wilding out. I ain't heard wilding out since 1998.
At least I know what it means.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we go now to the Thrill Seekers and Heavenly Bodies?
Let's go.